Today's Focus Report takes us to Austria, where EU heads of state are meeting in Salzburg. Top of the agenda is immigration. Well, Austria, which currently holds the European Council presidency, wants to tighten the bloc's external borders. There's also a hot-button issue domestically, the coalition government cracking down on immigration with a host of measures that are throwing up obstacles for asylum seekers and refugees. This from Anthony Mills and Vianney Laurent.
Spielfeld, a transit point between Austria and Slovenia. This summer, 500 police officers and 200 soldiers simulated a border protection operation here. The goal? To show Austria is prepared to repel any new wave of migrants on the scale of 2015, when tens of thousands crossed the border. Now, the flow has thinned, but the border controls continue.
Here in Spielfeld, the number of illegal immigrants we arrest has dropped significantly. But we still find some hiding in trucks and other vehicles. About 10 people a month, not much more. People smuggler activity has diminished significantly recently, so we assume our controls are having a preventive effect.
Despite EU criticism, Austria wants to prolong the border controls. Not useful, say migrant help NGOs. They suggest focusing on the 115,000 refugees and 46,000 asylum seekers already living in Austria.
The current government has already cut the budget for integration by many millions of euros. Actually, if we look at the government's actions, we can clearly see that they're not interested in integrating people. On the contrary, they're pressuring those people to leave our country.
The primary impact of the budget cuts? A reduction in the number of German classes for refugees and asylum seekers. Inexplicable, say the NGOs, since mastering the language is vital for integration. 27-year-old Gaëlle fled Afghanistan in 2015 with her husband. Awaiting refugee status, she's taking classes offered by the Red Cross.
Speaking German is crucial to finding a job. I'd really like to work in a nursery or maybe a shop. We hope to be able to stay, and then I'd like to work, be happy and healthy. That's all. And maybe later have a child.
The government plans to tie German language skills to minimum income for those without resources. If refugees don't pass the European classification level B1, they could lose €300 a month, reducing the amount they have to live off to a monthly €563. This teacher is skeptical.
It's already difficult to learn a language and to reach the high proficiency B1 level. Some people will need a lot of time to really get there. So I fail to see how, with fewer courses, asylum seekers will be able to achieve that B1 level, which they need to qualify for the full minimum income. This puts even more pressure on their learning.
In power since last December, the ÖVP-FPÖ coalition has released a slew of statements targeting refugees and asylum seekers. And yet, arrivals have plummeted. 89,000 asylum requests in 2015, 24,000 in 2017.
You have to say that this government came into power because of the asylum question to a large degree. And now the asylum question is not very important anymore, but they want to keep it important because this is part of their ticket to power.
Accused by the opposition of instrumentalizing migration, the ÖVP, headed by Austria's Chancellor Sebastian Kurz, is pushing back and pushing forward its restrictive immigration policies.
You should not close your eyes when you feel that Austrian citizens have the feeling we cannot integrate all the people who are arriving here. We don't want to have a situation as we had in 2015, which was the opposite of a strong government protecting our border, having everything under control.
The UN High Commission for Human Rights, though, is concerned at the situation in Austria. It's sending a team to investigate whether or not migrants are being sufficiently protected here.